Today is the 5-year anniversary of Mad Max Fury Road. What a day.
What a lovely day!
Hey film fans, I'm Jack Benner, and welcome to my review of Mad Max Fury Road. Mad Max Fury Road came out in 2015, and it's a revisiting of the Mad Max franchise. George Miller is back directing this one, who directed the 3 previous Mad Max movies with Mel Gibson, and this film stars Tom Hardy and Charlize Theron. This film is set in a post-apocalyptic desert wasteland. Max, this time played by Tom Hardy, gets captured by the War Boys tribe, led by an evil cult leader named Immortan Joe. After a sandstorm chase, he suddenly finds himself teaming up with Furiosa, played by Charlize Theron, and she is helping the wives of Immortan Joe escape and taking them to her homeland. The heroes are doing what they can to survive, and the chase begins. I remember seeing the trailers for this movie in late 2014, how they got me pumped up. Even if I have seen bits of the Mel Gibson Mad Max movies, I was still excited for this movie, and I saw this movie in theaters in 2015 with my dad, and after the film ended, I told my dad, that is one of the best action films ever made, and I still stand by that to this day. Mad Max Fury Road is phenomenal, not just as an action film, but a film in general. First, the action and directing by George Miller, I can't praise it enough. George Miller has returned to the Mad Max franchise 30 years after Beyond Thunderdome, and it's like he never left. This is by far the craziest and most awesomest action in the franchise by far. He didn't just take it to 10, he took it to 10 million or 10 billion. I can tell there was so much dedication and passion put into the action filmmaking and the stunt work. This is such a gorgeously shot movie. The cinematography is just amazing. Some of the best cinematography I've ever seen in an action movie. The fast-paced editing that thankfully doesn't get too fast and you can tell what's going on during the action, and the amazing sound design as well. The excellent production and costume design that definitely sell this post-apocalyptic desert world. This is some of the best action filmmaking in years. This movie is shot to perfection. And now let's talk about the amazing visual effects. Over 80% of the effects in this movie are practical. A lot of stunts and vehicles are practical effects, and speaking of the vehicles, there are plenty of awesome vehicles in this film, and there's this one particular vehicle with a guy on it, and this. That right there is the coolest thing ever put on film. An electric guitar flamethrower? Whoever thought of that just deserves a raise. And even the CGI was used very well, especially in the sequence that takes place during a sandstorm. That was incredible. And Furiosa has a missing arm, and in the behind the scenes they did a green screen wrap around Charlize Theron's arm and edited it out in post. And it looked real. It looked very convincing. This seriously should have won the Oscar for Best Visual Effects. Ex Machina is a good movie and had pretty good visual effects, especially for an A24 film. But Mad Max Fury Road has some of the best mix of practical and CGI effects I've seen in a long time. And the acting in this film was also very good. Tom Hardy is great as Max. You definitely care for his character right at the beginning of this film. Both when he's dealing with PTSD with his dead daughter and when he's captured by the War Boys and a lot of bad things happen to him. And he is a great action hero you can definitely root for. And Charlize Theron as Furiosa steals the show in this film. She's tough, strong, fierce, and independent, and she's willing to do anything to help the wives of Joe. Charlize Theron seriously should have gotten an Oscar nomination for Best Actress. This is one of her best roles. And an underrated performance in my opinion is Nicholas Hoult as Nux. At first he starts off as this crazy war boy, how much he worships Joe. But in the middle of the film he suddenly realizes that worshipping Joe is not really worth fighting for, and he decides to help the wives. And I like that character arc that he goes through. I found it interesting. And Immortan Joe What a great villain. Not only is he scary and memorable, but you do understand why he's after the wives, and he is set up pretty well at the beginning of this film, taking place at his citadel. And also, my favorite line from him, mediocre. And I also want to talk about the amazing music as well that definitely gets you pumped up for the action scenes. And my favorite musical score in this film, Brothers for Arms, look it up on YouTube. That is one of the most heart-pounding and awesome musical scores I've ever heard in an action movie. Although you don't want to be thinking about that song if it gets stuck in your head while driving. Bad idea there. Now this film is pretty much a chase film and it has a simple story, but I felt like it worked pretty well. My favorite part about the story in this film is it relies on visual storytelling rather than exposition. And just by looking at the characters' facial expressions, you can tell they've been through something bad in the past. This is a great action movie that definitely knows how to use the show don't tell rule of filmmaking very well. This film moves. There's an urgency for everything. There's constant stakes of go, 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 even in scenes where there's no action going on. As for issues, nope, no. Not one issue with Mad Max Fury Road. Nothing. Overall, Mad Max Fury Road is the definition of an action masterpiece. From the action, the acting and characters, stunts and spectacle, visual storytelling, this is everything an action movie should be. I'm very happy that this was one of the Best Picture nominees at the 2016 Oscars with 10 Oscar nominations. And this film won 6 Oscars, including Best Film Editing, Best Sound Mixing, Best Sound Editing, Production Design, Makeup and Hairstyling, and Costume Design. Very well deserved for all of them. And even if it didn't win Best Picture since it had competition with Spotlight and The Revenant, the latter of which also had Tom Hardy in it, and also when he got nominated for Best Supporting Actor. So 2015, awesome year for Tom Hardy. Mad Max Fury Road and The Revenant, 2 great movies. This was my favorite film of 2015, just a glorious action movie. 5 years later, in 2025, I guarantee you, this film will still be seen as an action classic. Absolutely. Mad Max Fury Road gets, but bam, 5 out of 5 stars. If you have never seen Mad Max Fury Road, stop what you're doing and watch it right now. Or if you've already seen it and planning to rewatch it again, go rewatch it. So what do you guys think about Mad Max Fury Road? Do you agree? Disagree with me? Let me know below. Make sure to like this video, leave a comment, and subscribe if you're new here. It really means a lot. I'm Jack Benner, and look forward to another movie review.